And hopefully we're live. Today is another Tips and Tricks Thursday for my entrepreneurs. I'm Eris Creates and creatives, independent ones especially, how to never have to choose between their art and their income again. I teach entrepreneurial skills. I teach how to start and grow your business. And today I have, by request, a subject matter might actually apply to a lot of us. What is up with memberships? All right, we're talking things like Patreon, OnlyFans, and even things like YouTube and Facebook they're getting on the bandwagon. So let me know with a comment. Let me know what you think of this content. Let me know what you'd like to hear about next. I love to hear from you guys. I love to know that I'm helping. And if you're watching the replay, drop a 2 in the comments so I can get back with you when I get a chance and know that once again, I'm able to help and interact with you guys. I can't see who is talking to me in the chat windows, but I appreciate your comments. All right, without further ado, let's talk about how membership platforms, thanks to Phaedra, an Artpreneurs member, she's been asking about membership platforms and what are people's thoughts? What are the things that are working? General sense, we'll talk about some pros or cons around membership platforms like Patreon and OnlyFans. And this is a great subject because I think right now memberships are kind of hot. They are really good, hot property in the minds of people about, what kinds of things can I do to make money with my arts and creativity that aren't necessarily the stuff I'm always, or, things that other people have been doing for many years, decades, etc. There are so many cool ways to make money, and patronage is one of them. It's called patronage because it's really the support that you get from people who want to support you in a general sense. It is slightly different than the old model of patronage from the Renaissance that we know about, where someone would hire you to do something and get you to do that thing for them alone or specific to that. The way patronage has shifted is now you can attract a lot of people who can support you in smaller ways, but you make so much better of an impact on people's lives because patronage is now in the hands of people who can give you $5 a month to see you do something. So starting with the general sense, what do these membership platforms do? What do membership platforms like Patreon and OnlyFans allow you to do? And why are they different than, say, building your own audience and taking money from them as tips or other things? So one of the things that they do is they connect you with people. Platforms are really good because they build a marketplace around it. You don't have to do as much work to attract the right people to find you doing what you already do. So these platforms are beneficial. That's a pro. They bring people to you. Now, on the other hand, there's a bit of competition because, well, once you start bringing people to a place to look for things, you are up against other people who do similar things. Now, is it good or a bad thing? Well, that depends on how you look at it, right? I like to think co-opetition going on. The more we have an attitude of co-opetition, where we cooperate, where we work with other people who are doing similar things to us, we learn from them, we take tips, and we can model what they're doing, but we don't steal what they're doing, model what they're doing. And that becomes such a great thing to do. So once more, positive side of it is the platform brings you the people. One part of it is that they take a chunk of what it is that you would get from people, right? But that's their business model. This is how they make their money. They make their money by taking a small piece, hopefully a small piece, of what it is that you do. They connect you with somebody that's valuable, right? Are you willing to pay them 20% of whatever you make on a person for that privilege? Well, it might be worth it to some people, and it often is, because I have seen people making anywhere from a couple $100s a month to tens of thousands of dollars a month and more. This is something that is another pro. You have regular income that you can largely expect and rely on. So these patronage models are wonderful for that. And what they do then is they allow people to buy into who you are and what you do month by month. Now, the other problem to the other side of that is yeah, you're going to make money month by month, but anybody could drop off at any time. So what's the catch then? Well, you have to kind of spend time working on making sure you're serving people in a way that's consistent, that will allow them to keep wanting to come back. So you have to come up with new content. You have to come up with things that excite them and keep them engaged. And that way they want to keep paying you. So that's great. So I have a question in the comments. I'm going to address that. Wondering how to attract people to actively buy memberships or merchandise from Ko-fi or Patreon. Well, that's another thing. We talked about being the platform being the middleman, right? So the middleman is going to be doing the general thing. They're going to bring people to the platform and they may or may not feature you, right? So while they do bring you a lot of people you may not have already attracted, there's that other side of it. How do you attract people actively? Well, this is where social media can come in handy, right? If you're really good at social media, you will constantly be giving people a chance to go from your social media to a place where you want them to be. This is called funneling people. It's not a complicated matter, but the word funnel can be confusing. So just to touch on that real quickly, you should always have a plan in your business to take people from not knowing you to loving you, and from not ever spending money on you to paying your highest top dollar products. That's funneling. It's also, on the other flip side of it, you look at it from their viewpoint, it's called a customer experience. So the attraction is about making sure you know what you want people to do and what transformation you're taking them through. From one step to the next, what's in it for them? Always remember that, guys. What's in it for them? Why should they spend their very precious time and their hard-earned money on making something happen for you? Like, why should they give you money each month? Why should they buy a product or a service or an experience that you are offering? And there's tons that goes into like making sure that that works and that you have a good plan. So this is what I teach in the Artpreneurs membership and all of the content that we create in the Artpreneurs Summit. All of those things are things that we review. These are not something that happens overnight. It's not something that you create and then you just sit on it, right? The whole thing about building a career or business is that you're constantly having to review what it is you're doing and what's working. So when you're trying to attract people, you want to make sure that you are doing it in an intentional way, that you have a plan, and that you know you're giving value to other people. Another question, do you need to be popular to draw in people in order for this to work? Well, it depends on what you're talking about by drawing in people. If you just go set something up on Patreon and you just create an account and you never talk about it and no one knows you have it, and then you're just waiting and hoping that Patreon's going to put people on your page and they're going to like whatever you wrote so much that they just jump on the idea, well, that can happen. But is it going to be sustainable? Probably not. You don't need to be popular. In fact, let me touch on the idea of popularity, because here's the thing about popularism. We call it pop culture, you know, what's common, what's natural, what most people are liking. But I think there's real gold in the niches, the weirdness, the oddities, the things that you do that are so different from everyone else. You can capitalize on that. So I would say that you need to be popular with very specific things. What you need to do is find your niche and chase after it. And as you're doing that, you'll start to build an audience around the weird quirkiness that you have, the odd, funny things that you do, and the uniqueness, which I often call your UCP, your unique creative proposition. Another thing I teach in the Artpreneurs membership and trainings is how you particularly can make yourself stand out from the crowd and lead competition rather than being the one who's always falling behind. So these patronage models, this membership, it's not a new thing. It's been around for a long time. Memberships have been, I mean, they go back to the guilds of the medieval times, right? Where you buy into the idea that you're a part of something and you pay to be in that privileged group. It's the same with the people who follow you. If you give them something that's valuable to them that they can pay for, and they like it and they continue to like it and find value in it, they will continue to pay you. So patronage and membership, what is a good place to find yourself? Let me talk about that for a moment. This is where people kind of question, do I belong? Do I belong on this or that platform? The point is to figure out who is on that platform that's doing something similar to you and jump in and try it, okay? The other thing is, if someone's not doing anything like you are, try it too. There's a guy on OnlyFans, and we'll just touch that one little thing I want to talk about. OnlyFans got a bad reputation, guys. Okay, people do some weird stuff on OnlyFans. But here's what the thing is: there's people who go in there and do the most mundane things that have nothing to do with adult material, and they're making a killing. People like what's different. And once you have a place where people are congregating and gathering, you can make sure to be there and offer what you have to offer that's so special and unique. So I hope that covered a lot of your questions about membership models. If you got more or more specific questions, let me know. Always comment for me and put a like or a share out there for me, and I appreciate your time. Have a great day.